Hi, everyone. I'm Connie Zabel-Schmucker. I'm Advocacy Director at Bicycle Garage Indy. Welcome to Bicycling Lunch and Learn. Joined by Margaret and Tess. Margaret is with Bicycle Indiana and Tess is with Bike Indianapolis, and they're going to talk a little bit about what their organizations do. If you have any questions or want to give any feedback or anything that you know that's going on, feel free to type into the chat. And this program is being recorded and will be available on the Lunch and Learn website and shared on Facebook. So if you want to look at it later or share it with somebody else, feel free to do that. And these are held on the second Thursday of the month. We have, let's see, it's July now, so we go through October. So we have, several more months to go. We've got all the programs up on our website, so you can see anything that we've done, that we've recorded since, I think, February of 2021. You can go back and look at those archive recordings. And also see what's coming up next. So I will turn this over. Oh, I should say who the partners are. So the partners, this is a program of the Cycle Commuter Task Force, and the partners are Bicycle Indiana, Bike Indianapolis, Central Indiana Bicycling Association, Commuter Connect, and Bicycle Garage Indy. So without further ado, I will go ahead and turn this over to Margaret.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm actually sitting outside of a bike shop right now. My name is Margaret Barawskas. I am the Executive Director of Bicycle Indiana. It's month 4 right now. I'm very new to the position. My previous background was working with getting kids on bikes, specifically mountain biking across the state. And I live here in Terre Haute. I've been here about 7 years and moved from the Detroit area, and very excited to be on this call. So now our organization is a nonprofit that promotes bike advocacy as well as safety, educational materials, and more legislative support and initiatives across the state as things happen. If you have any questions, I'll drop my information into the chat. But other than that, take a look at our website and Facebook and social media. We're sharing a lot of great things that are happening. A really exciting thing that's happening in the next couple of weeks, if you haven't seen yet. But Reggie Miller is coming into town for, I'm wearing the shirt right now, Dust Bowl. He's racing the gravel race that's happening in Eminence on July 22nd. But he's coming into town, and if you want to ride with Reggie Miller, the basketball player, or previous or former basketball player, he is having a ride on July 19th in Carmel, and I'll drop that information as well into the chat.
Thank you. That's really exciting. So for those who are not familiar with Bicycle Indiana, or what types of things does a statewide organization do?
Oop, too many buttons. Sorry, could you repeat that again, Connie?
Yeah, so for those people who aren't familiar with Bicycle Indiana, what types of things does a statewide bicycle organization work on?
What my goals are for the organization is to create as many opportunities and for resources for every type of cyclist across the state, from mountain biking to gravel riding to commuting, in the Indianapolis area or in other areas of the state, as well as just any type of recreational riding that includes events, clubs, contacts, as well as just really creating a hub for cyclists to connect with people. I think everyone on this call agrees probably that cycling is a community, and being part of something and part of a lifelong sport is what I like to call it, is even better. And what I define a lifelong sport, and what my previous position with working with kids is, once you graduate high school and college, you can still ride your bike anywhere, and you can race, you can just ride around town, or you can commute to work or to school. And it just still brings incredible opportunities to every cyclist or every rider.
So you mentioned some legislative efforts. Are there any efforts that you're specifically looking at for the next legislative session?
Right now, I am not. I'm working with our lobbyist. We have somebody that does help us out. But I have had some really great conversations with people across the state, specifically recently, Andrea Hunley, who has been a great advocate for us, but also just connections with us trying to gather more information and data. So.
Yeah, she had a Vision Zero task force bill that made it through the Senate. No, made it through the House, but didn't make it through the Senate, or one or the other. So since you've had conversations, is she going to try and push for that again? Do you know?
She said that was my homework to take a look at a lot of the information that's already visible on public and online sources. She did mention that there was going to be a big push for funding that was specifically for vulnerable user, and the specifics in that, and maybe Tess, and you can help me since I'm so new to this position when it comes to that topic. But it sounded like there was talk of specific funding that was going to support walkers, pedestrians, cyclists, people out riding, out on the roads or walking.
Okay, great. Thanks. Thanks for that information. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Tess, if you want to.
Hey, actually, and I do have a short presentation I can do if I want to share screen. Let's see. Let me get there. There we go. Do you see that?
Yes.
Great. All right. Well, as Connie said, I'm Tess Woods. I'm with Bike Indianapolis. I'm the project coordinator here. I was hired in September, so I'm kind of new as well, like Margaret. So I'm still learning about a lot of issues regarding cycling in Indianapolis. But just to give you an idea, Bike Indianapolis is a nonprofit organization. We are much like Bike Indiana, Bicycling Indiana, that we are about advocacy, cycling advocacy, and really creating safe spaces for people to cycle. And we do that in a number of ways. But specifically, I just want to introduce our team. So there I am on the left, I'm project coordinator. And then we have an advocacy committee chair, who's Chris Holcomb, and then Chris DeGrimas is our social media person. So we do have 3 people that are working on our team, but that's not just us. We also have a board of directors, as you can see here. And then we have a huge, huge volunteer core, which is really what makes us run. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But specifically, our mission is to get more people riding in central Indiana. And we do that through a 3-pronged approach. So we use it through advocacy, through education, and through riding. And so we want to get more riders out there. Obviously, the more riders that are out there, the safer all of us are on the roads. And so we try to do it in a number of different ways. Some of our highlights from the last year are right here, and they're kind of broken out. And some of those things have obviously carried over into this year. We do a number of community rides. We were instrumental in getting the Fatal Crash Review team up and running. We are always working, and we have a seat at the table and discussing and updating bicycle infrastructure in Indianapolis. We've been a host to the Major Taylor Invitational, which is a huge club throughout the nation, and we hosted that last year, and we did. They were so happy and with how the outcome was that they came back this year. So we had, it was called the Major Taylor Convention this year, which just happened over June 16th and 17th. So these are some other things that we've done as well. I don't want to go through all of them, but these are a number of our accomplishments through the last year. And certainly, if you have any questions, Connie, you wave at me if someone chats. Okay, awesome. So just to highlight our programs and our opportunities, like I said earlier, we do offer a lot of programs, and since we're only a staff of 3, we really depend on our volunteers to step up, and they really do. Every time I put a call out for volunteers, we get people signing up. And so I can't say how much we appreciate and that they're available and willing to help us run these programs. So the programs that we have, our Bike Buddies program, which is a joint effort with CERTA Commuter Connect. And it's a really great program where we pair a novice rider with an experienced rider. And it's a chance for them to learn how to navigate the streets and riding, either commuting or for enjoyment. But that experienced rider can really mentor that novice rider and help them feel more comfortable riding on the streets and all the ins and outs of riding their bike, whether it's the quick ABC quick check and teaching them how to just make sure their bike is ready and safe to ride, to how to commute safely and what kind of equipment you might need, or how to make it a viable option for them maybe on a daily basis. So if you're interested in that, always jump on our website. You can get that information there. We offer community and neighborhood rides. We have 3 rides going on right now, one in Butler Tarkington, one in Irvington, and one on the Near East Side. And so we're always looking for people to offer more of those. We have we can mentor and help you set up your own neighborhood ride. It's a great way to meet your neighbors and create a social circle for you where you all should have a shared experience and enjoyment of riding. Our valet bike parking program encourages people to get out and ride their bikes by doing a destination ride. So what we do is we partner with different events and organizations that are happening and offer a safe space for you to park your bike. We have someone there that will watch it while you go and enjoy the event. And so we have a number of valet bike parking events that we provide throughout the year. We're having one come up right now called Indy Crit, which is in August 26th, which is by Indy Momentum. And we will offer bike valet parking there throughout that day, which is a Saturday. We do community outreach where we do tabling events where we talk about what Bike Indianapolis is doing. We also have an advocacy committee, which is very robust right now, and they're doing a lot of work, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And then, of course, our board of directors, which we're always looking for more individuals that are interested in being a part of our board. So the advocacy committee I wanted to highlight, oops, not too far, because I think they're really doing a lot of good stuff. We've been highlighting our 2023 Indy Bike Guide that's just came out. And so we've been distributing that all over Indianapolis, which highlights all the bike paths and multi-use trails throughout Indianapolis. It's the most up-to-date guide that's out right now. So if you're interested, you can shoot me an email if you'd like one, and we'll be posting where they all are, where we delivered them to, so that you can pick one up. BGI, I haven't dropped those off yet, but I'm going to drop those off in the next day or so. So you'll be able to pick one up at one of their stores as well. So these are just some of the things that the advocacy committee does and works on. And it is a volunteer group. And so they get together monthly, virtually, to talk about what they're working on and to move forward in some of their projects. So these are some things that they've done. We have a Hey Driver parking card, which I don't know if you've seen this. I know I have. When you're riding around town and you're on a bike lane and someone's parked in it, and then that pushes you out into the traffic. It makes it unsafe for you as a rider. And so our advocacy committee created these little, almost like parking tickets, where you can put this card on a car or a vehicle that is in the parking lane, just to kind of let them know in a very friendly manner that they are parked in the lane and it's unsafe for them and really illegal for them to be parking there. So that is one of their projects that they completed, and we have those cards available as well. Any questions? No. The Bike Buddy program I mentioned, and if you're interested in that, so Bike Indianapolis, we train the expert riders, which I mean, they're already expert riders if they ride a lot, but we just have a short training program, an hour, which just talks about how the program works and how they're paired with a novice rider. And then CERTA Commuter Connect is the one who's in charge of finding the novice rider. So if you are a novice rider and you'd like to be paired with an experienced rider, you could always email me, but you can also connect with CERTA, and they will connect you with a experienced rider. So that's the program that will help you learn how to ride safely, and lots of information about how to trails and how to be a bike commuter if that's what you're interested in. I did want to highlight some of our big events. These actually have already happened, but these are our main events that we offer as part of our ride prong as our for our mission. So Bike to the Ballpark, Bike to Work Day, and Bike to 500. So I just want to highlight those, and maybe you can look for those next year to be a part of one of those events. We do have another event coming up in partnership, as we are, Connie said, part of the Cycle Commuter Task Force. So I wanted to highlight that we have an active transportation meetup next week on Thursday, starting at 7 a.m. We're encouraging people to commute downtown to meet up at Tinker Coffee on Market. We will meet and have a social gathering with coffee, and then we want to go and check out the new reopening of the 10th and Monon. So we plan to ride up to that area at 8:30 and to take a photo op. So I wanted to highlight that as since that's coming up next week. There is a Facebook event, and there's the link there if you're interested in letting us know that you'll be attending, just so we know to look for you. And finally, we do have a membership through Bike Indianapolis. We are a nonprofit organization, so we're always looking for funding, of course. And so this is a way for you to support our mission. So I always like to mention that we have that option, and we encourage you to do so because it allows us to do more and to create more programs and make more of an impact in the cycling community and in the community at large in central Indiana. And finally, just some information about how to connect with us. I would encourage you to get on our monthly newsletter. We send that out, as I said, monthly, and it has all kinds of information about what we're doing and what's going on in central Indiana in the cycling community. We do have a trail update where every month where we highlight what's going on with the trail system, if there's new construction or if there's maintenance going on. That's always in our newsletter as well. And I do want to highlight or give a call out to Connie's newsletter. The BGI newsletter is great as well. So that's another one you might want to sign up for to make sure you know what's going on. Finally, just different ways to support Indy. You can do the Kroger, you can do sponsorship, always volunteer. If you want to volunteer, please let us know. We can always use your help. And these are our funders, of course, which keeps us running. And then these are the other organizations. I wasn't sure who was going to be here today, so I wanted to throw on, Margaret, your information as well, Health by Design, because those are two big cycling organizations in our state that are making an impact and helping us be safer on the roads. So that's all I have, unless any questions.
No, there weren't any questions, so I'm going to go ahead and let's see, go back to gallery. I wanted to share my screen. So I got some information from the Indy MPO, the Indianapolis Metropolitan Organization. And can everybody see my screen? Okay, so let me see if I can page down. So they've got a survey that's going on right now. They want to know, this is for all of central Indiana. So the Indy MPO covers Indianapolis and a good portion of the surrounding counties. And so there's a link for their survey, which closes on the 21st, so a week from tomorrow. So you have time. It takes a little bit of time and a little bit of thinking to do their survey, but it's really, really important because it helps them prioritize where funding is going to go for their active transportation. And they get about between 80 and $100 million a year to distribute. And if they don't hear from people that they want active transportation to be part of their priorities, the money won't necessarily go there. So it's really, really important to fill out those surveys and share it wide with everybody else. They want to get, a lot of good feedback with that. They also are starting a speaker series, and next Tuesday is one of their speakers. It's going to be, I'm going to mispronounce his name, Alatunya, oh boy, Reed. And I've heard him many times at National Bike Summit. He is wonderful. So, I encourage anybody to go and see him in person. And that is happening on Tuesday evening, this coming Tuesday, July 18th. And then they also have some trail-oriented development open houses. And they're also going to be at trails along the 21st and 22nd and 29th. So you might see someone with a clipboard out on the B&O trail. There's a Monon trail near the fairgrounds, or Summerfield Park in Greenwood, Fishers and Cumberland on the Pensy Trail, Fishers on the Nickel Plate Trail. And they're going to be doing some surveys for trail-oriented development. So there's going to be more trails built. What types of amenities would you want on the trail? And that's what they're wanting information about that. So those are really exciting things. Danielle Fry had a conflict, so she couldn't join us to talk more about that. But I told her I would fill in for her and let people know that these things are happening. And these are all also in BGI's newsletter this next week, or today, hopefully. And so you'll see them in there. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I'm going to do a couple more plugs for the active transportation meetup thing. We had it during the pandemic. We did away with the bike and breakfasts, and we haven't brought them back. So this is kind of a reboot of bike and breakfast, and we would call it reframing it as active transportation meetup. So it's not just biking, and it's going to be more of, buy your own coffee, more of a meetup, more of, a social gathering. But we're using this first one to kick off the fact that the Monon between 10th and 16th has been under construction with the 6570 North Split project. And so they've opened it recently. And so we're going to go right up there and check it out as part of the active transportation. So we can see what it looks like now. And we'll have a short photo op. So we're going to leave from our gathering spot at Tinker, which is their new location, a new location for them at Market in Alabama. And so at 8 o'clock, we're going to leave from there and we're going to go up. And most people, I think, will probably be riding bikes, and we'll be riding our bike up to 10th and the Monon, and then have a short photo and ride that portion of it just to see what it's like, and then disperse to wherever people are going to go to work. So hopefully you can join us either for the active transportation meetup, or for the bike ride starting at 8, or just a photo op at 8:30. So that's coming up next week. Also on that same day, this is a shameless plug, Bicycle Garage Indy is celebrating our 40th year in business. And so we're having a birthday party during our hours from 11 to 7 at our North location.